Today is a WRAL weather alert day. We have a front headed our way, bringing storms to the mountains. I'll show you what time they'll arrive where you are.
What comes next? The Vatican and Catholic community are in mourning after the death of Pope Francis. The next steps to fill his role and the plans to honor him, including in Raleigh today.
Plus, remote learning. Wake County school leaders will revisit remote learning policies today. The changes that could reduce the amount of Saturday school makeups. I think students will like that. We'll talk about it coming up. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Lemongood. As we mentioned in the beginning, it's a WRAL weather alert day, and we have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking this moment by moment, town by town, to get you started for your Tuesday.
Nice and quiet this morning. No rain to worry about for the morning commute, but mid-afternoon through evening, we'll start to see those storms developing. It's not going to be a widespread severe threat. It's a level 1 risk, meaning a few of the cells could produce some severe storms, and it will affect the evening commute with rain. Our level 1 risk covers almost the entire viewing area, just not right along the Virginia line. But that doesn't mean you won't see storms there. In North Hills right now, we're looking at some filtered sunshine, some high thin cloud cover, a nice warm start to the day with a southwest wind at 7. Our temperature 68 degrees. Rain chances for today really start to pick up mid to late afternoon. We'll see those rain chances shifting from our central counties to our eastern counties as we get to, say, 9 to 10 o'clock this evening. Temperatures will be warm like they were yesterday. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Once that front moves in this evening, it's going to stay put. I'll show you how many days in a row we could see afternoon and evening storms. Ken?
801 Elizabeth. I just want to encourage you, if you're getting ready to head out, definitely leave the house sooner than usual because we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown on all our major routes, particularly the Beltline, 87 coming in from Nidell. I do want to tell you about this crash in southeast Raleigh near the I-40 interchange. You can see it's causing quite a huge backup there on those I-40 lanes. You're looking at an 11-minute delay if you're coming in from Johnston County from Highway 42 up until the Beltline. So definitely give yourself some extra time. This is what it looks like on our live cam network this morning. You can see the flashing lights there off to the shoulder of the road. So things are definitely getting better. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out, even though traffic is flowing nicely in those directions. In terms of other major routes coming into the capital city, you're looking at a 6-minute delay coming in from Apex this morning. I-885, 6 minutes, 11 minutes on Fins up there in Wake Forest. So you want to give yourself some extra time definitely this morning as you're about to head out. Tune us in on the radio if that's the case, 101.5 HD3.
Thanks, Ken. Cardinals are at the Vatican this morning going through details of Pope Francis's funeral. You were looking live at the Vatican and the people who have come to pay their respects. It's the first meeting of the Cardinals since the Pope's death. This morning, the Vatican announced the Pope's funeral will be on Saturday at 10 a.m. And tomorrow morning, the Pope's body will be transferred to St. Peter's Basilica. The Vatican says his official cause of death was a stroke that led to heart failure.
And so we're spending this morning remembering the Pope's impact on the world. He was the first Latin American Pope, and our cameras were there for his visit to Cuba back in 2015. Former WRAL reporter Leila Santiago was there, and she says Pope Francis had a special impact on their culture.
In Latin America, Catholicism is so deeply rooted in our values and traditions that when many see themselves reflected in the leader of a religion that is so prominent, and they see a pope that has prioritized seeing them.
Santiago took a unique approach to her coverage. Instead of heading to the designated media zone, well, she walked in with general admission, and she was able to capture the Pope getting out of the Pope-mobile and interacting with the people.
And we have a guide to the traditions, the Latin terms, and a timeline to select a new pope. You'll find it all on our homepage of WRAL.com.
Wake County leaders have a goal to need fewer Saturday school makeup days, and they'll be discussing their remote learning policy today, which addresses this. WRAL's Laura Levine is live outside the Wake County School headquarters. And Laura, this could help the school year stay on track despite snow or severe weather.
Hey, Chris, good morning. Students have certainly been familiar with remote learning during the pandemic, and now it could make a comeback here at Wake County Public Schools under some new guidelines with when schools close unexpectedly for certain reasons. So the Wake County School Board is considering an updated remote learning plan after this year's storms resulted in Saturday schools at some year-round schools. A new plan is required by the state, and the plan is essentially the same as the one the district is already using, except that it could outline and will outline current technologies the district is using. School leaders really encountered some issues this year because the district was not prepared to conduct the remote learning when needed. WRAL WRAL's education reporter Emily Walkenhorst says the draft plan outlines how the district would roll out remote learning when poor weather or another unforeseen circumstance closes school without any banked days or teacher work days left.
So this plan is coming forward basically at a time when the school board wants to be able to review this plan, and they want to make sure that the school system is ready to implement a remote learning day if this ever happens again. You'll recall that many year-round schools had to have Saturday school twice this spring, just because they didn't have the remote learning option during snow days, and they had to find some other way to make it up.
So the school board will discuss this latest version of this plan here for remote learning today at its Student Achievement Committee at 1 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News, we're live in Cary.
Today, the NC Central University Board of Trustees will have a special meeting. They plan to approve a designer to renovate the university theater. This meeting comes after 5 people were arrested during a protest on campus. 4 out of the 5 people were affiliated with the school. The group was rallying for more on-campus housing and better living conditions. Housing improvements are not yet on the agenda for today or the board's next meeting in June.
Raleigh's Renaissance Park community experienced another round of smash and grab robberies. The owner of this GMC truck says that his window was smashed Sunday night and back in January. Whoever was responsible for this took his 9mm handgun. And neighbors say the crime has led them to take extra caution.
Be vigilant, keep an eye outside, keep your vehicles locked. If you have Ring cameras, make sure they're charged and online.
A lot of that investigators say you should do as well. At last check, no arrests or charges were announced.
A UNC freshman faces 8 counts of felony secret keeping. Arrest warrants say 19-year-old Marshall Ragsdale used a camera to record people in the bathroom. UNC police found 33 videos on the camera. According to his release order, Ragsdale can no longer be on campus.
A woman in Garner is recovering from a shooting, and WRAL's breaking news tracker was there as police arrived on Heather Park Drive. That's near Dartmouth Glen Drive. Investigators found at least 6 shell casings there, and a canine officer was brought in to help track the shooter. If you have any information about this, you can call Garner Police.
No injuries were reported after a house fire in Durham. It happened on Elmsford Street. Officials say the fire was mainly kept to the back of the home.
This week is National Work Zone Awareness Week, and that is why the state DOT is holding a news conference this morning at 10 o'clock, and that's happening at the state fairgrounds. The agency wants to remind drivers to pay attention and avoid distractions when entering a work zone and obey those speed limits. They're mandatory, not suggestions. 47 people were killed in North Carolina work zones in 2024.
The wife of Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil says he's been denied temporary release for the birth of their son. Khalil's wife had their first child yesterday, and she says a request to ICE that would allow Khalil to attend the birth and meet their son was denied. Khalil was arrested for his role in pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University, where he was a graduate student. Khalil is a legal permanent resident, and his wife is a U.S. citizen. He's being held at an immigration detention facility in Louisiana.
Duke's superstar freshman Cooper Flagg is headed to the NBA, and he made that announcement yesterday, just days before the deadline to declare. Flagg is expected to be the #1 pick in the draft, which is in June.
Time now, 8:08, dead for 10 minutes. A woman's heart stopped during a concert at Coca Booth. How she's remembering the scary moments before waking up in the hospital.
And a flight on fire. Delta passengers in Orlando were evacuated on the tarmac. We're going to show you a closer look at this plane engine as it was up in flames.
And today is a WRAL weather alert day. Our chance for thunderstorms goes up mid to late afternoon. I'll show you how it could affect the evening commute. It is 8:12, and we do have a WRAL weather alert day this afternoon. We're going to see the potential for some isolated severe storms. This is a look at our level 1 risk, and it does encompass almost the entire viewing area. This level 1 risk means just isolated severe storms for this afternoon. Wind damage and hail will be our biggest threats. Timeline for that starts mid to late afternoon. You can see that threat for storms goes up by 3 or 4 o'clock to about 50%, and it lingers, especially in our eastern counties, through maybe 9 or 10 o'clock this evening. Now, this morning, we're nice and bright. We're seeing some sunny skies in places, and that will allow our temperatures to warm up. We'll climb into the low to mid 80s before the thunderstorms begin. So it'll be another warm day for us today. This pattern lingers too. It won't be just today, but we have a chance of afternoon and evening thunderstorms all the way through Saturday. Coming up, we'll talk about how much rain we could see over the next 5 days total. Ken?
Happening now, Elizabeth, we're going to start outside and give it a live look at I-40 and I-440 interchange in southeast Raleigh. A crash that happened there earlier has completely cleared, so things are really looking nicely coming into that interchange. In terms of other major routes coming into the capital city, you definitely want to give yourself some extra time, because here's what we're seeing. You're looking at a 12-minute delay if you're coming in from southern Wake County and Apex, a 9-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest, 7 minutes if you're coming in from Zebulon and Nightdale. Elsewhere in the Bull City, you get very little to no delays that we're seeing right in the Bull City, but I'll keep my eye on this situation happening here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
And Jeff, welcome to the WRAL Live Center. I want to get you right to some live pictures that are just coming into our newsroom right now. Sky 5 is over the scene in Nash County here. This is in Castalia, a remote area there, 5200 block of Crabtree Road in that area. You see some U.S. Marshals there, Nash County deputies there. We have confirmation. Chelsea Donovan has made some calls on this and talked to Nash County Sheriff Keith Stone, who has confirmed that U.S. Marshals were in that area trying to serve a warrant, he believed, for a man wanted for murder. And something went wrong during this. The man got out of his car, ran from that scene into the woods, and shot himself in the woods right there. And this is all the information that we have so far. We're trying to figure out, if there was any type of chase, who the guy is that they were after there, any information on the murder case. We have a crew that is on the way. Kelsey Coffey is on the way there to give us some support on the ground there. This is the scene from Sky 5 that we're seeing right now. Again, Castalia, it's a 5200 block of Crabtree Road in that area right there. So we're just going to ask some more questions to try to figure out more about this. But somebody was on the run from U.S. Marshals there when they were trying to serve a warrant, went in the woods and shot himself.
All right, Jeff, thank you for that update. An engine fire forced passengers to evacuate a Delta flight using the emergency slides. Take a look at this video. A witness, they shot this video showing the moments those flames were coming out of that plane. This all happened at Orlando International Airport yesterday. The FAA says the plane was pushing back from the gate for departure. Almost 300 passengers and crew members were on board that plane.
First responders saved a woman's life during a concert at Coca Booth. Earlene Jones can be seen here on the left with her family, and she was at the Billy Strings concert last Thursday when she felt something was not right. She eventually found emergency responders on site, and the last thing she remembers is screaming that she could not breathe. But then she woke up in the hospital the next day. Nurses told Jones her heart stopped for 10 minutes while first responders performed CPR.
It's still hard for me to wrap my head around that actually happened. But if I had not been with those guys, I'm sure I wouldn't have made it. So my appreciation for them is just crazy,
And Jones battled chronic bronchitis and heart problems before, but she's never experienced something like this. Despite 10 minutes of no blood flow, she awoke without any cognitive issues.
SpaceX launched a rocket again from Florida's Cape Canaveral Monday evening, and some of you saw it here in North Carolina. These are some of the viewer pictures that were sent into the WRAL newsroom. You can see the rocket there falling away from us. Really interesting sight. We first told you about this during Monday's 9 o'clock hour of news. Despite the less than ideal trajectory of the launch, we were still able to see it because it happened about an hour after sunset. The setting sun to the west helped illuminate that vapor trail that you guys have seen since last night. So if you have any pictures of that launch from last night, your best bet is to send them to us to WRAL.com/report it. Michelle?
Cool images there. Wow. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, concerns about national park safety are rising after a hiker died along the Blue Ridge Parkway. Gia Wong, a 40-year-old from Plymouth, North Carolina, fell into the water on Friday and could not be revived. That stretch of trail runs through Julian Price Park, which is a popular destination just off the parkway near Blowing Rock. Former rangers say this area sees some of the highest numbers of trail-related injuries.
Out there on the trails, most people don't have cell service, and we're out there with a radio, so we can actually radio back to our our nearby tower and then help figure out where these guests or incidences are. And so we often were the first ones on the scene.
The National Park Service has seen a 13% reduction in staffing over the past 2 months under the Trump administration. That's according to the Coalition to Protect America's National Parks. The National Park Service has not responded to requests for comment.
A growing wildfire threat is creating new concern in western North Carolina. Right now, nearly 1,400 acres are burning in McDowell County. Storm debris from Helene is fueling wildfires and making it harder for teams to keep up. Authorities say this spring is shaping up to be one of the worst in decades.
It's roughly 822,000 acres that saw some sort of damage, timber damage. And so in some cases, we have entire mountainsides that have been completely blown down. And so all of that fuel is working in favor of wildfires. It's fresh fuel for the fire to consume. Fires are burning hotter and spreading quicker.
With more than 100 vacancies in the NC Forest Service, some counties don't have a full-time firefighter on the ground. Tonight at 6 o'clock on WRAL, hear from a man who lost everything in the fires and why experts say more homes could be at risk.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is facing new allegations of improperly sharing sensitive military operation details before a strike in Yemen. Hegseth is accused of also sharing that information in group chats with his wife, brother, and personal lawyer. Hegseth sent the information using his personal phone, also via the Signal app. The Defense Secretary responded to questions at the White House Easter egg roll.
They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department.
President Trump stands with Hegseth, saying he has so much confidence in the defense leader's work.
Covering Wilson, today there will be a celebration of North Carolina's aerospace manufacturing industry. Collins Aerospace is expanding their operations with a ribbon cutting, and they've been based in Wilson for more than 40 years. This new facility will help them continue to meet in their partnership with Airbus, creating heat detection units for their planes. This all gets started at 9 o'clock this morning.
All right, let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. She is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. It is a WRAL weather alert day. No rain yet, Elizabeth, but it's on the way.
It's pretty out here actually right now. Very similar to yesterday where we have a mix of sun and clouds. It's warm. It's a little breezy. Checking out Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, and Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. So a comfortable start this morning, but mid to late afternoon, that's when we begin to see the rain rolling in. So it is a WRAL weather alert day for today. Our next weather maker is a front that moves in this afternoon and stalls over us. That means some slow-moving scattered thunderstorms. One or two of those could produce some damaging winds, so it is a level 1 risk for severe storms for today. Here's a look at where that front is right now. It is producing showers and thunderstorms along the mountains. That front will move here and decide to hang out with us for a while. It won't allow our temperatures to drop, and it will be a focusing mechanism for showers and storms for the next 5 days. We do need some rain, but it's it's really going to feel more like a summertime pattern, where we have the thunderstorms pop up almost every afternoon. That's the next 5 days. At lunchtime, the rain is mostly to our west, but by the time we get to 3 o'clock, a few cells move in, and at 5 o'clock, it looks like it's going to be fairly wet for the evening commute in the triangle, and then some of those storms move south and east as we get into the evening. This is 6 a.m. on Wednesday. We might still tomorrow have a lingering shower in our eastern counties. Tomorrow's likely to be a little bit more cloudy than today, and again, once we get into some daytime heating, later in the afternoon, evening, we'll have that potential for some scattered storms. Today, again, level 1 risk. That just means that storms won't be widespread. We'll have a low risk for wind and hail, and then tornadoes and flooding, an even smaller risk. But we do continue this pattern. Our front will be stalled here. Notice again, Wednesday afternoon, storms pop up, Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, and Saturday too. Our another front comes through on Saturday. That'll bring us the best chance of rain in the next 7 days, and then we start to clear out after that. How much rain? Most likely an average of 3/4 to an inch, but there'll probably be pockets where that rainfall is a bit heavier. Our temperatures will be mild in the upper 70s to low 80s. Of course, several events this evening, Earth Day celebrations and the Canes. We'll talk about how the weather this evening could affect them.
8:22, Elizabeth. You're getting ready to head out. We've seen the usual congestion building on our major routes, including the Beltline. This is a southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. You can see those westbound lanes moving away from us. The northern loop of the Beltline, we're seeing seeing the congestion building as well. So definitely you want to leave the house a little sooner than usual. Here's what we're looking at in terms of the other major routes coming into the capital city. Boy, it's getting better down here in Apex if you're coming in from southern Wake County or Apex this morning. Our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at an 8-minute delay coming in from on US 1, just a 5-minute delay coming in from Nightdale, which is really good news. Definitely things are getting better. Over in the Bull City, here's what we're looking at. It's a situation where before we had very little, no delays coming into the Bull City. We do want to isolate I-885 right now. You can see it's a good situation where you have like 6 or 7 minutes going in and out.
All right, thank you, Ken. An AI porn arrest. A man is accused of using AI to make nude photos of NC State students. What's revealed in his arrest warrants?
Plus, we're following breaking news that Sky 5 is in Nash County, where U.S. Marshals were trying to serve a warrant, but a person they were serving them to.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. A beautiful sunny start out there right now, but it is a WRAL weather alert day. Rain is on the way, Elizabeth.
Here comes that front. It's been bringing rain to the mountains for pretty much the entire morning. It eventually arrives here mid to late afternoon, and because of that, it is a WRAL weather alert day. We have a level 1 risk for severe storms. That means 1 or 2 of the cells that pop up this evening could produce some isolated wind damage. Rain chances really crank up mid to late afternoon, and it will be here for the evening commute. So it's going to make for some messy conditions. Make sure we want to tune in to WRAL. And Mike and Kat will walk you through that. Our temperatures are nice and mild heading out the door. It is dry for the morning commute. Ken?
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're starting the Bull City to give you a live look at I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. We're seeing the usual congestion building. If you're going into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 6-minute delay. If you're trying to get to I-40 from I-885, you'll look at a 7-minute delay. In terms of the other major routes heading into the Bull City this morning, very little to no delays. Just Highway 98, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. Nothing really that's going to make you late. In terms of the capital city, here's what we're looking at. Is a situation where it's we're seeing the usual congestion coming down from Wake Forest this morning. I'll keep an eye on it here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
All right, thank you, Ken. This morning, Mass was held at Raleigh's Holy Name of Jesus Cathedral. This is their first gathering since the death of Pope Francis. As tributes pour in from across the globe, Catholics here in the Triangle are honoring the Pope and his legacy. And a fire in Johnston County leaves a family without a home. 2 adults, 3 children, and their pets were able to get out of the home before the fire started around 4:30 this morning. In Smithfield, Selma and Wilson's fire departments were on that scene. The cause is still under investigation. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic over on Fox 50.
Today is a WRAL weather alert day. I'm tracking a front bringing storms to the mountains. I'll show you what time those storms will arrive here and how it could affect your evening commute.
And honoring the Pope, the new information we've learned this morning about plans to mourn Francis at the Vatican as you look live in Rome this morning, including the schedule for his funeral.
Plus, phones in school. Today, Wake County school leaders will talk about possible exceptions to their restricted access policy. The plan for emergency situations. We'll talk about that and other stories as you're waking up with us here on WRAL News on Fox 50 this Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lovington.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, of course, we have a lot to get to, but we have to start with weather because it is a WRAL weather alert day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has been following the storm system on the way really closely, Elizabeth.
Yes, this WRAL weather alert day means showers and thunderstorms during the evening commute. Mid to late afternoon is when things begin, and just an isolated threat for severe storms. This won't be a widespread sort of severe weather threat for us, but 1 or 2 of those cells that develop could produce some wind damage. So there is a level 1 risk across most of the viewing area, just except right along the Virginia line this afternoon. Heading out this morning, it looks great. Just like it did yesterday, we're seeing mostly some sunshine, a little bit of high thin cloud cover here in Apex, a southwesterly wind making it nice and mild, and 68 is the temperature in the Triangle. Now, mid to late afternoon, our chance for rain goes up to 50%, and that means it will be wet, at least in some places, particularly the Triangle during the evening commute. So plan accordingly. Our high temperature will climb into the low 80s before we really get into a lot of those thunderstorms. This pattern repeats for the next 4 or 5 days. I'll show you how much rain we could see total. Ken?
8:31, Elizabeth. We're seeing traffic building on a lot of our major routes, including the southern loop of the Beltline. This I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road moving away from us this morning. In terms of the other major routes coming into the capital city, you're looking at an 8-minute delay if you're coming in from Durham this morning. Folks in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 9-minute delay. And of course, if you're in Nightdale coming into the capital city, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. So give yourself some extra time this morning. That will be your best bet. Over in the Bull City, very little to no delays heading into the Durham this morning. But I do want to isolate I-885 this morning because that's usually a very busy route going in and out of Durham. So if you're going into Durham this morning, those northbound lanes, you're looking at an 8-minute delay. But if you're using 885 to get to I-40 this morning, you're looking at a 7-minute delay. So definitely something to keep in mind as you get ready to head out. Here's what it looks like on I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
New this morning, we're getting details about the schedule for the Pope's public viewing and funeral. The Vatican announced that he will lie in state at St. Peter's Basilica beginning tomorrow morning. And his funeral is scheduled for Saturday morning starting at 10. What you're seeing right here to this screen is a live look at Vatican City that are showing so many people who are out there during a 9-day period of mourning being observed. Today, cardinals are meeting to discuss the process of choosing a successor for the Pope. People in Pope Francis's native Argentina gathered at his home church to mourn his death. Argentina is observing a 7-day national period of mourning, and the Vatican says the Pope died of a stroke and heart failure. President Donald Trump says that he will join other world leaders at Francis's funeral.
Today, people here in the Triangle are honoring the Pope's legacy. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey tells us Holy Name of Jesus Cathedral in Raleigh held its first Mass since the Pope's death this morning.
Mass just wrapped up here at the Holy Name of Jesus Cathedral in Raleigh. A couple dozen people in our community gathered here for worship during this somber time. Tributes are pouring in from across the globe. People here in the Triangle are honoring the Pope's life and legacy. Madison Geist came to Holy Name of Jesus this morning to pay her respects. She says Pope Francis connected with younger generations. He was more accepting of the LGBTQ community and an advocate for social justice and human rights.
How he was being super progressive in the Catholic Church. He was changing things for the better. And I just felt connected with him, and I wanted to come pay my respects this morning.
We'll keep you updated on more local tributes throughout the day. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And we have a guide to the traditions, the period of mourning, and the timeline to select a new pope. You'll find it all on the homepage of WRAL.com.
Covering Wake County, school leaders want to restrict access to cell phones for students, but today they'll consider what to do in emergency situations. WRAL's Laura Levine explains the options that are on the table.
We know the school board is working on a district-wide cell phone policy, but happening today, they're going to look at closer terms of actually when students could use these phones in the classroom. Wake's draft policy says phones must be turned off, silenced, or in airplane mode. Those are the 3 options that were listed for the board to eventually pick one. If phones are turned off, students can't use them for location services, and other devices such as smartwatches or Bluetooth headphones wouldn't be able to connect to their cell phones. But the question is, what happens when there's an emergency? WRAL's education reporter Emily Walkenhorst explains the options the board is considering on how to define just that.
One option would be an emergency is something in which, a student is in immediate physical danger and they need to be able to contact a parent. Another option would be, well, what if we gave discretion to school employees? So the student would have to ask permission to use their phone, and a school employee would decide if it's an emergency or not.
School leaders will also discuss when and how to confiscate a device and the extent to which staff may not be liable for damages or missing phones. The school board is set to discuss and iron out all of these details when they meet here today at 2:30 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Cary.
Classroom temperatures would change under a cost-saving suggestion being floated to the Wake County School Board. The school board will discuss the idea during their work session this afternoon. The proposal would raise school temperatures by 1 degree in the warmer months and lower temperatures by 1 degree in colder months. The school system has also put together estimates for reducing teacher mentors, another idea to lowering costs. The district is looking to cut about $18 million or less than 1% of its operating budget as it expects costs to rise next year. And we will keep you up to date on all of the important discussions from the Wake County School Board. Look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening.
We're getting a new look at an intense crash in Durham County. And the video we're about to show is from the perspective of a security camera at a nearby urgent care over the weekend. But we're not going to show the moment of impact. We want to show respect for those involved. And frankly, the video is tough to watch. Now, here's a part of that video. You can see two SUVs headed toward the right part of your screen. And then a car approaches in the opposite direction and appears to be speeding and cross the center line. That is where we stop the video. You can hear the brakes squeaking and a very loud impact. And about 5 seconds after the crash, the video shows a deputy's car arrived. We're told deputies were trying to stop the Infiniti suspected to be involved in the shooting. 2 people in that car died, as well as 1 person in the Honda CR-V. We're working to learn if this was a chase and if chase policy was followed, if so.
Duke University is telling its international students to avoid traveling abroad. The school system updated travel guidance. It says due to increased risks involving re-entering the United States, they advise international students to avoid traveling outside the country unless it's essential. This comes after 2 Duke students and a graduate had their visas revoked by the federal government. That's according to reporting by the Duke Chronicle. Duke set up a website that allows international students to ask questions about immigration and travel guidance anonymously. And authorities arrested a man accused of posting AI-generated photos of NC State students on a pornographic website. 23-year-old Hayne Beard is facing 2 counts of misdemeanor stalking. The new warrant specifically says the photos had titles listing the women as being in a sorority at NC State. Back in February, WRAL reported on this happening with more than 30 women coming forward.
The Carolina Hurricanes will be on Lenovo Center ice tonight for Game 2 of their opening round series against the New Jersey Devils, and you still have time to get your seat. The team says a limited number of tickets remain for tonight's game. Puck drop is at 6, so you know. The team encourages people to come out early and tailgate with half-price parking from 1 to 3 p.m.
Bullets found at school.
If you're a parent and you don't lock up your ammunition, I'm sure it's easy for a kid to find.
New concerns for parents after kids at a Raleigh elementary school make the surprising find in a cafeteria.
Plus, disputing denials. 5 on Your Side breaks down the steps you need to take if your health insurance refuses your claim.
And today is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. You are looking live from the WRAL Garner Tower. Plenty of cloud cover there, some sunshine as well. Rain is on the way. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has the newest timeline for when severe weather is expected to pass through our area.
It's 8:42. I'm tracking this cold front that's producing showers and thunderstorms in the mountains. So it is a WRAL weather alert day as those thunderstorms work their way into our area. We do have a level 1 risk. Just a few of those storms could produce wind damage. Just isolated wind damage reports is about all we'll end up seeing. The rain starts to pick up around 3 to 5 o'clock. It does look like it'll be messy in the triangle during the evening commute. And then some of those storms may move eastward as we head into the evening. Here's a live look at Chapel Hill. Definitely a dry morning commute, but we'll see the clouds thickening up over the next couple of hours. Right now, temperatures are mostly in the mid to upper 60s, so it's a nice mild start this morning. And we've had some very warm temperatures lately. Ask the meteorologist today is why do we care about our spring warming? We've seen a lot of that. It's been a pretty warm April. Meteorologist Chris Michaels coming up in just a bit to talk more about that. Ken?
Happening now, Elizabeth, as congestion building around most of our major routes. Here's a look at the southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. As far as the northern loop of the Beltline, Ridge Road, these are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. So things are beginning to flow nicely in the northern loop of the Beltline. As far as the other major routes coming into the capital city, you're looking at an 11-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. That's really the troubled spot this morning. Over in the Bull City, very little to no delays, nothing that's going to make you late heading into Durham this morning.
Bit of a troubling message to parents at one Wake County elementary school. In a note from the school, 2 bullets were found on the floor in the cafeteria, and they were found by students. Now, no students were threatened or harmed, but still, this raises concerns for parents.
I have a child in elementary school, and if it could happen there, it could probably happen at any school, and that's very scary to me as a parent.
In a statement, the school's principal says any students found responsible for bringing the bullets to school will be disciplined.
This spring has been one of the warmest on record, and that's not a fluke. Meteorologist Chris Michael shows us how spring has warmed in North Carolina and the 3 reasons why we care about that, Chris.
And that number one reason you probably already know, it's the pollen. It lasts a little longer. Now, this season in particular, it started a little later because January was so cold, but usually a warmer spring is going to translate to a longer allergy season. Warmer air could actually fuel more wildfires, and then warmer air also holds more water vapor, so sometimes you get stronger storms or the chance for some flooding too. Now, spring is not the quickest season to warm. Winter's the quickest warming season over the course of the past 5 decades. That data coming in from Climate Central. They also say that not just Raleigh and not just North Carolina, but the U.S. as a whole, seeing our springs and our Earth days warming by about 2 to 4 degrees since 1970. Now, this spring, this April in particular, has been the warmest on record so far in Raleigh, in Fayetteville. It's been the 4th warmest on record, and we're certainly feeling that today on this Earth Day. At Dix Park, temperatures will start out in the low 80s at 4 p.m. There will be the chance for some scattered storms as well. Elizabeth's going to show you the latest with Futurecast, but some storms causing issues farther down south. Michelle?
All right, thank you, Chris. Streets across New Orleans are flooded after up to 6 inches of rain fell on that city. Look at this video. People are urged to get to higher ground and avoid walking or driving in the floodwaters. And a National Institute of Health survey found as many as 66% of people who file for bankruptcy blame medical bills. That's why it's so important to know your rights. If you think a medical bill you got is wrong, 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur shows you the steps you can take that can help you hold on to more of your money. If your insurance denies medical coverage, that's not always the final decision. You can appeal, but only 1% of us do. The first thing you need to do is contact the provider.
And so you go to them and find out why. What's the reason? What are the codes that are either missing or that were there, or how is it categorized that led to the denied claim? They'll help you because they want to get paid as well.
On the insurance side, when you get a notice of denial, that should include your appeal rights. Look through those to figure out what your insurer's process for an appeal is. Know the different levels of appeals allowed, whether there are any time limits, and make sure to keep any documents related to your medical care. From there, connect with the provider and the insurer to figure out if the denial can be overturned. If you need more help, the North Carolina Department of Insurance's Smart NC program helps people with their appeals for free. Or you can always call Keely. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
So in 2026, certain children ages 3 to 9 can dine for free at Walt Disney World. This promotion is available to guests who purchase a Disney dining plan for the adults in their group. But dining plans are only available to guests who stay at Disney Resort Collection hotels, and each person in the party must purchase the plan. Disney says guests will be able to combine the free dining promotion with other deals. The Motion Picture Academy announced some new rules and regulations, including one that directly affects Oscar voters. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
It may seem obvious, but now it's official. Motion Picture Academy members must watch all of the nominated films in a category to vote in that category. Before, voters were encouraged to see every nominee before voting. Now it's a requirement. The Academy also announced guidelines for its newest category, Achievement in Casting. That award debuts on the 98th Academy Awards, March 15th, 2026.
Those kids walked out of those homes. No one pulled them out.
No one forced them. A group of children mysteriously disappears overnight in Weapons. The first teaser trailer for the horror film just dropped. Weapons from Barbarians writer-director Zach Kreger is due in theaters August 8th.
We have to fix this.
Okay, fine. What do we do?
We trade our top talent, Paris and New York. Put fresh faces out there. Get people interested in dance again.
Rival ballet companies find a way for the show to go on in Étoile. The executive producers of Gilmore Girls and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel are behind the comedy series. All 8 episodes dance onto Prime Video Thursday. Staying on point in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
An Indian artist created a magnificent tribute to the Pope. The artist created a sand sculpture of the Pope in his honor. He crafted the 8-foot-tall sculpture out of 8 tons of sand. And text below the Pope's image says, "Rest in peace." He says the Pope's death is a huge loss for the world. That is absolutely incredible. Babies in UNC hospitals, neonatal intensive care units had a sweet first Easter. Look at these photos. These babies are in the NICU at UNC Chapel Hill and UNC Rex hospitals. The nurses brought joy to the families, dressing the babies in bunny ears or giving them little Easter baskets.
Oh,
they're so cute.
Look at them little chickies.
Oh my goodness.
Alexander Ovechkin added another highlight to his incredible career. He scored an overtime playoff goal for the first time in his career last night, and that gave the Washington Capitals a Game 1 win over Montreal. Ovechkin scored twice in the game to bring his career playoff goal total to 74, and he broke Wayne Gretzky's regular season goal record earlier this month. But he is not likely to catch Gretzky's playoff goal record, which is 122.
He's still good, though. All right, SpaceX launched a rocket from Florida's Cape Canaveral, and some of you saw it from here in North Carolina. These are viewer pictures sent into the WRAL newsroom last night. We first told you about this during yesterday's morning news at 9. Our meteorologists say despite the less than ideal trajectory of the launch, we were able to see it because it happened an hour after sunset. If you have any pictures from last night's launch, send them to us at WRAL.com/report it. Some beautiful, beautiful photos. I love it. Elizabeth, I love when we get photos like that from viewers because, I mean, everybody has a different view and they're always amazing.
It really gives you a great sort of sense of what it looked like. Yet when you see so many different angles of the photo, neat, really cool for those folks who got to see it. And we always appreciate everybody sending pictures, of a rocket launch or, the flowers in your backyard. Anything you have going on, we love to see those photos. All right, here's what's happening. We do have thunder and lightning that's happening here across the mountains along this front. And that front moves into our area, bringing us showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon and evening. We have a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe storms. That means that a couple of the cells that develop today could produce some wind or hail, but it would be isolated in nature. Starts around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see some rain in the triangle around the evening commute, and then some of that moves eastward later on this evening. It is a WRAL weather alert day with that level 1 risk for severe storms in almost all of our counties. A level 1 risk means that just isolated severe storms are possible. It's a very low risk, limited in duration and intensity. And then, of course, we go all the way up to level 5. But this is just a level 1, meaning it's a low risk. Checking out our timeline for this, we'll take a look here. At 1 o'clock, most of the rain is well to our north. But once we get into, say, 5 o'clock, we begin to see some showers and thunderstorms moving into the area. And it keeps on going. There's 7 o'clock with some rain. And then by 8 or 9, a lot of that starts to shift into our southeastern counties. Now, ahead of that, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds. Of course, this is the tower right here in our backyard here at WRAL. It's been a mild morning, 68 degrees, and our dew point's very comfortable. It's a nice start to the day out there. 83 Raleigh, 82 in Durham, and 86 in Fayetteville. So before the rain starts, the temperatures will climb into the 80s. Our next really good chance of rain comes Saturday, and we'll see afternoon and evening thunderstorms each day until then. But another front comes through Saturday and brings us an even better chance for rain, and then eventually sweeps out and changes the pattern. Temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s for the next 6 or 7 days. It is Earth Day today, and of course the Hurricanes have their second game of the playoffs. If you are going to be out this afternoon or evening, it could definitely be a little wet.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Here's a quick look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. We'll be back in just a moment.